Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? Jared Fuller here. Today is Sunday, January 28th, 2018. So glad you could join me this week. Obviously, yeah, there's some things to go over, and I'll get to that. So first things first, I got my hair cut, got my ears lowered. Thank you, Jay, my brother, for cutting my hair. In exchange for services rendered, I bought a couple 2 liters of pop. Mountain Dew and Pepsi. So, I don't know if you guys drink Mountain Dew and Pepsi, but I figured that was payment enough. I didn't have any cash to give to you, although I don't think Jay would demand cash, but who knows. No, it was nice to spend some quality time with my brother and my niece Mackenzie. We just kind of kicked back, drink some coffee and put up with little stinker Mackenzie. And she is a stinker. Stinker. She was here right before last, I think, or a couple of nights ago. But she had all of us up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like, what are you doing up so early? But I figured out that it was because her brother Caden, when he gets up for school, Caden gets up early, so that's when she wakes up. And it's like, okay, but nobody here's going to school, so get your little tushy back in bed. And she woke up my dad. It's wake up time, Papa. It's wake up time. And he says, no, it's not. Go back to sleep. Which was cute. It was cute. Can't argue with that. So that was one good highlight of the week. And of course, a little girl named Jasmine had lost her battle to DIPG. She had been fighting for quite a long time. And again, I want to offer my condolences to the Wade family. If they're watching this, my heart is broken. And maybe I shouldn't say lost her battle, because she fought for a long time, and she won as far as I'm concerned. Now she doesn't have to put up with that. Now she's free and clear of the shackles and chains of DIPG. She is free and clear now. She doesn't have to worry about that anymore. But nonetheless, it still hurts. It's still painful. It's a pain that I couldn't even begin to describe. Of course, I'm not a bereaved parent, but my thoughts and my condolences and love and hugs go out to the Wade family, and I am so extremely sorry for the loss that they've sustained. So that's, what you got to take the good with the bad. And something else that happened last week was the beginning of Zender Snowfest, of course. I had mentioned that in the Sunday/Monday video, because last week's Sunday video update installment was preempted to Monday for varying circumstances. I couldn't get the room to myself. I typically don't mind it if Dad and Amy join me in the Sunday video update. But I mean, there's quite a few people here that I typically, I just need my time to be able to do these, and I can't do that if I have a house full of people. So now I think it's the perfect time to do the Sunday video update before anybody else decides to show up, because we are expecting company today. Amy's brother, I think, is expected to show up today for a visit, and I figured, well, I'm awake now, pot of coffee's made, I just better get to this and get it done. So yeah, Zender Snowfest started last week, and I guess I should have pointed out that they don't just only carve blocks of ice, they carve blocks of snow too. Hence Zender Snowfest, Jared. I was kind of just all over the place last week in my thoughts, and I was like, I really wasn't concentrated. But today I am, and so now I'm just kind of getting it together and drinking coffee out of my MSU Spartans coffee cup. And speaking of MSU, it's been in the national news headlines. I don't know if you guys watch the news, but a former, and I can use the word former, it's not a misnomer, he is now a former MSU gymnastics doctor, Dr. Larry Nassar. Well, I won't even use the name doctor anymore. Larry Nassar was charged last week for the molestation of, I think there's like 150 patients. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of victims. And in addition to that, he was also charged with possession of child pornography. So he's looking at 40 to 175 years in prison, 60 years in a federal prison, and then the remainder of his prison sentence in a regular prison. And I think he still has to go into a different jurisdiction, Eaton County, which would be west of Lansing. So he was charged in Lansing last week, or Ingham County, or it might have been Lansing or Mason. I'm not sure which courthouse it was. But it was in Ingham County where the judge handed down the sentence of 40 to 175 years. Plus, he has another court hearing in neighboring Eaton County, which is just to the west, over in Charlotte. So it's basically adios, bye-bye, see you later, Larry Nassar. And by all means, I know how people can be, they want to attach things to things. I drink coffee out of an MSU Spartans coffee cup. Now, excuse me, I had this cup long before any of this was going on. So please don't assume that I support a doctor or anyone for that matter who sexually abuses children, or anyone for that matter. You people know, if you've been watching my Sunday video updates for however long I've been doing this, probably a year now, you would know that the Spartan coffee cup is kind of like a staple in my Sunday video updates. So me drinking out of a Spartan cup, it doesn't mean that I support that, because it's just entirely not true. I know how people are. I just wanted to clarify. Well, he support. No, I don't. If that were the case, I would be better off drinking out of a Mike Tyson coffee cup and saying, well, he supports the chewing and biting of ears. Well, that's not true either. So there, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Although I haven't had any comments about that. Well, you're drinking out of a coffee cup of a university. No, I drink out of a cup. Excuse me. I drink out of a cup of MSU because that's where my pediatric oncologists were when I had cancer. They are MSU graduates, and I show my support for the green. But anyway, as far as I'm doing, other than this scratchy throat or whatever's going on, I'm doing okay. I'm not sick or anything. Although I've had to get after some people who have been coming over here sick. It's like, if you're sick, stay that way. Don't bring it over here. And you shouldn't have to actually tell people not to come over when they're sick. You just shouldn't have to do that. But people, they don't use common sense. What was the statement I said? It was, common sense is free, but it's not so common because people actually think they have to buy common sense. Where's the common sense in that? But yeah, just please, if you're sick, do not come over here. How much more clear could I be than that? I'm not trying to be mean about it, but you wouldn't like it if I came to your house being sick and giving whatever I had to you or your kids, especially your kids. You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't appreciate that. So you could kindly return the favor. I don't need to get sick just because you get bored sitting home. Well, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, when I'm sick, I stay in bed. I don't get up only to go to the bathroom or to get something to eat if I feel up to eating. But for the remainder or the good bulk of the time I'm sick, I'm in bed. And I just do not want to move. I don't want to get up. But that's how I fight it off, just by getting rest. So yeah, I just, a few things to clear up this week. Other than that, I'm doing okay. Now, for the bigger picture, and I wanted to save this for last. Yeah, so I had contemplated making this video for days, because the thing about damn it. The thing about Ronnie, I don't even have to use the word opposition anymore, because it's out in the open. My opposition is, in fact, Ronnie Duvall. And there have been several people who have had issues with him. Several. And it had taken me a long time to, just kind of put together a video. I mean, when you make a video coming out about anything, it takes you a long time to kind of mull things over. Well, if I say anything, there's a good chance he could sue me for using his name. And there's also a good chance that I could be a voice for everybody else who may otherwise be afraid of saying anything. And now, now I can speak up and say, no more, you're done. And if anybody else wants to stand up and say, you're done using my children for whatever the reason may be, then you can do that. Now, mind you, I don't have children. He didn't use my children because, first of all, I have none. And second of all, the reason that Ronnie and I have been fighting, or we've been at each other's throats for so long now, is because for reasons that I described in the video called Breaking My Silence, but there's just much more. There's so much more that's been festering up over the course of the past 2 years that we've been at each other's throats. And it had taken me a good bit of time to come to my senses about this and say, you know what, I really need to do a video discussing my bad experiences with Ronnie. Now, there's other people out there, like I said, they have had bad experiences with him, and the hole that he continues to dig is only getting deeper. Only getting deeper. And when I made that video, I had considered the consequences for it. I had considered, okay, he could sue me. I considered the fact that, well, he could have his band of heathens come after me and attack me verbally, which comments aren't allowed on my videos, so that's not going to happen. And even if they did, they would be blocked and banned permanently from my channel. So it's like, if you want to pursue me, or if you want to talk to me and get nasty with me, do it in an email. Do it in an email. But with all that being said, it was time. It was just time for me to make a video talking about him. And it's part of the advocacy. I always say, if you're going to be an advocate, be an advocate. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of putting someone on blast. When they're doing something wrong, especially when they are using children to elude responsibility for their actions, you're damn right you better speak up and say something. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. Now, my reasons for making a video about Ronnie Duvall differ from the reasons that anybody else would speak up about him publicly. Now, their reasons may be because they are actual parents of cancer warriors, and Ronnie was using them to exploit, he was exploiting them to elude the responsibility of his actions. Now, he may not look at it as exploitation, but the whole entire time he's crying slander. Excuse me, he's crying slander the whole time. And I bet he's watching this and saying, "Oh, that Jared Fuller, I'm going to sue him. I'll see you in court." But guess what? I guess you're forgetting the number of times that I have caught you slandering me on Facebook. But what do? I brush it off because I'm not going to sit and pout like a 2-year-old and make such a big deal about it. Although anything that Ronnie says about me on Facebook isn't true, what he has done essentially is jumped on a bandwagon, and his little fleet of cockroaches who make excuses for him have also jumped on a bandwagon. And as much as I hate to refer to them as a fleet of cockroaches, because these are also parents of warriors, because I don't want to refer to them as such, but until such time that they wake up to him and they realize just exactly what the hell is going on with him, that's all they're ever going to be. They are going to blindly follow and not question or challenge anything he does. In the meantime, they're going to attack me because I'm making a video. It's not even the comments I make about them being a fleet of cockroaches, by the way. It's because of a bandwagon that they've jumped on. Well, Jared Fuller this and Jared Fuller that. Jared Fuller is being inappropriate and saying all kinds of bad things, blah, 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 blah. No, I have not said anything inappropriate. Maybe to Ronnie I've said a lot of inappropriate things, like using the F word, but that's because he deserved it. And if you knew half of the shit that he's up to, you would say that he deserved it too. And you can't deny it. And if you do, then you also are an idiot. And you're defending him. But see, I don't like to waste so much time calling people names and just pointing out how much of idiots they are. But in this case, he has gotten himself in, he continues to bury himself. Continues to bury himself. Now, I haven't seen any other quote-unquote anti-Ronnie videos on YouTube. I've seen a couple where, they're praising Ronnie for, he put up Christmas lights at Coffey Park. Who gives a rat's ass? Who cares? Nobody should care anymore. Anybody could have just as easily done the same thing. There's a guy here in Michigan, every Christmas, he has this great big display of music. It's in sync, or not music, but it's Christmas lights. It's in sync with music. And it is just the most magnificent thing you could ever see, and it's right here in Saginaw County. I think it's wonderful. Of course, yeah, he takes donations, but they're actually paying for a light show, which I think is pretty cool. So there's, you would have to take donations, first of all, for the lights, and second of all, hey, if you want me to have this magnificent light display, I'm going to need some help paying the bill when it arrives, because Consumers Energy is going to rack me a great big fat electric bill for having all of these lights going at the same time. So it makes sense. But the thing is I don't care. Ronnie's done some good things. Okay, so he's done some humane things by assisting in the California wildfires. Bravo. Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I know lots of people who, if they see somebody in trouble, they help. I'm one of them, by the way. I always help somebody if I think they are in trouble. I do the best I can with the resources I have, but I sure as hell I'm not going to panhandle and use children to line my pockets. That's what Ronnie does. And anybody who disagrees with me, all they have to do is look at his past track record. I mean, I'm not on I haven't been on Facebook in quite a long time, but I find things out all the time. When I least expect it, I get an email. Oh yeah, did you see what he was up to? Did you see the screenshot of the post that he just made about you? Or I don't care what he says about me. So I don't want to see text. I don't want to see screenshots of posts that he's said about me. I don't want to see any of it. So because if you're gonna send me screenshots of a post that he says about me, if in fact he does take me into court, I would just use it against him anyway for slander. Two can play that game. So I just advise you to just keep it to yourself. But we want to see him eliminated, extinguished from our community. There's just no reason for him to be here. And I said it plain as day. Your reign of exploiting children with cancer is over. You're done. Nobody should have to go through that. And I also found out, and while I'm on the subject, I also found out that a person, I don't know how true it is. I'm not going to cite it as a fact, but I had found out that a man wanted to commit suicide because of Ronnie. I don't know how true it is. But whether or not it's true, see, that's the problem I have. I don't know how one person can have so much control over somebody else, mind control. I don't understand how that works. It's just, I find it to be so bizarre. He tried that with me in the beginning. He tried to get inside my head. No, I'm doing this for the kids. No, you're not. You were never doing this for the kids. You were doing this for you. And now that the people have woken up to you, they're starting to see the light. The lights are coming on, and so that's what he's up to. Well, there's been some release of court documents as well. And I don't want to give away the position too much, but I will say, in shorthand, that he has been using your children in exchange for the penalties of probation for the crimes he's committed. They released him off probation. They give him early termination of probation so he could, quote-unquote, help your children. Not to mention that he also claimed... He claims that he wants to offer treatment to a child with cancer, which I find that to be incredibly bizarre. First of all, because he's not an oncologist, he's not a medical professional, he's not a pediatrician. Who is he to be offering anything to anybody, especially treatment to a child with cancer? Second of all, it's kind of hard to do that when you're using the money for other purposes, like driving around the country on a paid vacation, free at large, which also kind of puts into the spotlight of, okay, if you want to sue me, well, how are you going to sue me? Because you're going to have to pay an attorney. You're going to need a lawyer to represent you. Isn't that going to cut into your tour across America budget? All the money that you've managed to scalp from gullible, vulnerable individuals? See, it all comes full circle eventually. And you can't make this up. I mean, it is this insane. It's this bizarre. And yes, I've had people say, Jared, you shouldn't make the video. You should just... because you're going to have all the haters, all the people attacking you. I'm just going to put it like this. The people in this community are my family, whether they realize it or not, whether they like it or not. We are all a family in this community. We, as I mentioned in the video that I made yesterday, we were involuntarily thrust into this. We didn't ask to be in this community. We make up for this community. And we're asking for help. We're looking out for answers. We're saying, hey, we have questions. We want answers. We demand answers. Just haven't got them yet. Maybe at some point, at some point in time, we would like to see, or at least hope, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we find a cure for cancer of all kinds, a panacea for all kinds of cancer. But all we can do is hope. We have hope. We hold on to hope. And when you have somebody like him coming along saying that he is going to stop childhood cancer, he's going to prevent children from getting cancer, it is absolutely stupid of him to say that. It's grossly profound. I can't understand why people would actually believe in him when he says things like that. Like he's putting on his Superman cape and he's going to come in and save the day and he's going to rescue children from the throes of childhood cancer. You're a fool. You're a fool. There's no amount of money in the world that could ever take the place of someone's child. I'm absolutely appalled by his behavior in this community, but somehow I'm the bad guy. I just speak the truth about people and things who are they're harmful, they cause detriment, and they need to be removed. And if me speaking about this at any time messes up my chances of being on a radio show or whatever, so be it. I don't care. Because people like him are not going to get away with doing what they're doing. This community is, like I said, we are all a family here. We didn't ask to be here. We didn't voluntarily set time aside to say, well, you know what? I would want to be an advocate for childhood cancer. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm friends with people who are advocates for childhood cancer, indirectly affected, by the way. And they are the most honest, most sweetest people I've ever known in my life. They don't take advantage of people, especially when they're at their wits' end. And they sure as hell don't get on Facebook and make stupid, just disgusting posts about how much money should parents get in fundraisers when treatment options have exhausted for their children. That is really just stupid. You would never say a thing like that. And you call yourself an advocate? Wow. I don't understand. Eventually, like I said, if he's going to take me into court over this video that I made yesterday, or even now this video, because I mentioned his name like 5 or 6 different times, if he really wants to take me to court, okay, I'll see you there. I'll put a chicken suit on, you know. I'll come in the court. I don't care. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be quiet about this. Now, people say, well, Jared, it's not your children, not your business. But it's not just that. It doesn't just stop with other people's children. I've had problems with Ronnie Duvall now for the past 2 years. This has been ongoing. And it all stemmed from, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, it all stemmed from him turning a family away because a family was connected with someone that Ronnie didn't like. So he turned the family away. No advocate in the world would ever do that.
Just go to the door.
And Amy's awake, folks. She's letting Scruffy out. We have another dog named Scruffy, by the way. So now Barkley has a playmate. Hi, Scrub. Go potty.
Settle down. Settle down. Settle down, you little turkey.
He's just happy to go outside. I'm going to go outside, Mama.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be sitting here at my computer and he'll just jump up on my lap and start licking my face. I said, well, hi. Hi, baby.
A little turkey.
Yeah. So, might as well wave at the camera. They've seen you.
Hello.
I'm just talking about you know who.
Oh, yeah.
I made a video yesterday for my YouTube channel. It might land me in some hot water. But, oh well.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah. I just want to be a voice. That's it.
Yep.
When I say I'm an advocate, I mean it. I don't pander. I'm not watered down. I'm 100 proof. And if you ask me to advocate for something, or if you ask me to be a voice for someone, I'm going to do it. So I guess I'll see you in court.
Whether that person likes it or not, Jared's gonna let him know.
Yep. And, you know, for anybody else who watched the video, which I'm going to get all kinds of shit thrown at me for that video.
Sorry if I had my
But it's yeah, it's, you know, it baffles me. Because, you know, Amy, my parents did not ask to be in that situation with me.
Right, right.
No parent in the world would ever ask for that.
No.
At least no parent in the right mind would ever ask for that.
Right.
And then we have someone, because who knows, there might have been people like him when I was sick and we just never knew about it. But we didn't have social media at that time
Yep.
to deflect all of those people. Now it's harder than it's ever been to hide and to keep secret those people who are out there being fraudulent and, you know, just con artists.
Yep.
They may have existed when I was sick. I'm sure they did. I mean, it's not a perfect world.
And the situation we're so young. You were what, 2.5, 1,
Yeah,
2?
I was 2.5. I was just a baby. I was, you know.
Like, you're gonna really know if someone was out there bashing somebody or some.
Well, I mean, it doesn't stop with just the bashing. I mean, Ronnie is exploiting children because he's got some serious charges against him prior. You know, he's got a past track record with the law, and he was using children in exchange to get off probation early. Now, if that's not the most despicable thing anybody could ever do, and I'm shocked that any judge in this country would okay that.
You know, I had a different scenario where you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Where I tried to get a PPO out on somebody.
Right.
And because their dad worked with the ambulance base, I couldn't get a PPO out on him.
I don't know why.
They wouldn't let me. I went there, tried to get a PPO out on me and my daughter, and they wouldn't grant it.
That's weird.
They told me there was nothing I can do about it, and he touched my daughter.
So more or less he had like some kind of leeway. He had the upper hand over you.
Yep.
Which
is stupid. But it's because his dad worked for the police department, might as well say, to be a fireman, volunteer,
right,
EMT, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and he did it for so many years, and that's where he retired from. Well, now, that person there has a lot of pull.
Yeah.
And gets away with everything.
Yeah, and see that, and Dad even mentioned that. I wonder if Ronnie paid the judge.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist here, but it's the only thing that really makes sense, because there is no judge, because judges are supposed to do what's in the best interest of the children. And in this case, we have a guy who had a pound of weed, which, okay, a weed conviction. Okay, not a big deal. I typically wouldn't make a big deal about someone who gets popped with drugs.
Right.
But if they had children with them at the time that they were popped, then I would make a big deal about it. It's all circumstantial. But it doesn't stop at that. He was caught with cocaine. And in exchange for early termination of probation, he wants to volunteer his time helping children, helping them how? He's not an oncologist. He's not a pediatrician.
Right. And right here, you, yourself, have not only been through the cancer.
Right.
The treatments. Everything.
Yeah.
And you have been a true advocate.
I like to think I am.
In the last few months.
I mean,
you've got people that call on your phone. You've got people that Skype with you.
mm-hmm.
Don't let him get the higher power.
Oh, you can say his name.
Yeah, don't let Ronnie get the higher power is what you don't do.
No, but
if you have to, bring everybody. Sure.
But I have a feeling, and maybe he won't, but I kind of have a feeling, I'm going to get something in the mail from a circuit court. Because you're slandering my name. No more than you slander mine.
Yep.
But
it's taking two.
Two can play that game. I could go on all day long talking about how many times I've been slandered by you. And not one time have I ever said, I'm going to sue you for slandering my name. Although I probably should. But
You're the bigger man.
I have better things to do.
You've got.
The people, see, and you were right, and Dad was right. The people who really and truly know who I am know that I am I'm a legitimately good person. I'm not out to hurt anybody. I help as many people as I can. Dad helps people. Amy helps people. My brother Jay helps people. It's just it's in the best interest. Everybody wins. There's a benefit to be had there. I'm not one of these people, he said my name in a faulty way, I'm going to sue. I got better things to do with my time.
Or because you say the word love, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, the terms of endearment, which I'm glad you brought that up too. I tell people I love them all the time. There's no twisted context to it. It's only the context that the people who want to think dirty, they inject into it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to sleep with anybody.
No.
I say the word love all the time.
That's like me and my girlfriend from Oregon. Before we sign off Facebook, it's always kisses, hugs, smoochies, and I love you.
Yeah.
Every time we talk.
It's
been that way since 2009.
I mean, it doesn't mean that there's some kind of lesbian love affair going on there.
No.
No, nothing against lesbians or gays, by the way. But it's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
You can't say I love you to someone without thinking, he loves me. He wants to sleep with me.
It's not like it was in the 70s, 60s, and 70s where you could walk up to somebody and
peace and love, brother. Yeah.
Hey, I love you today.
Yeah, and say I love you back. Doesn't mean I want to sleep with you.
Right. Oh, we just hugged. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we just hugged. We shared a public hug. What's Dad gonna say?
Yeah, what's Ronnie gonna say?
Oh, Jared is he's got some kind of secretive, hidden sexcapade going on with his dad's girlfriend. A hug, really? You just witnessed.
Yeah.
And they will use that now to their advantage.
Yep.
Or they're gonna die trying.
You're right.
This is just the absurdity that I deal with on a daily. Oh, Jared said, I love you. He called me sweetheart. I don't like that. Somehow the words give me cooties. Come on. Grow up. Amy tells me she loves me all the time. I tell my dad I love him. He's my frickin' dad. Of course I'm going to say, Dad, I love you. This is my dad.
And Jared, you're just like a stepson to me. We've been together since you were 15 and a half years old.
It is just absolutely absurd how people behave. You know what? My niece Mackenzie, I'm going to use Mackenzie as an example here. I tell her all the time that Uncle Jared loves her with all his heart. She's my niece. Now, I use the word love. What to any modern day person who says that I love you to their niece or nephew, they're not going to think anything of it. It's unconditional love.
Yeah. But
to these people, oh, he said the word love, so, there's something hidden going on.
Yep.
You are full of shit. Full of shit. So colossally full of shit that they would have to build a brick shit house to keep a roof over your head. That's how stupid it is.
True.
I don't know. But with Ronnie here, he used sick children to get an early termination from his probation. And I cannot understand for the life of me why any judge would okay that.
People like that make me sick.
Yeah.
Because there's parents out there that are trying to fight for their children.
Yeah.
No matter which way that fight is.
Right.
But you got this so-called advocate.
Yeah, advocate, yeah.
Yes, thank you. That thinks that he can do everything in the world.
Well, he thinks, but we know differently.
Go get me another cup of coffee. You want one?
Yeah, I need there's a kind of a hole in my cup.
We both got holes, Jared, in our cups.
I mean, wow. It's, and something else I should point out about that whole ruling thing of him getting off, getting the early termination of his probation. That should be a first clue of the injustice of our children in America.
Yeah, they have no protection whatsoever. The parents are the ones that have to do it.
And as much as maybe I shouldn't, question or try to think that I'm going to supersede a judge's decision, but it just shows you the kind of nonsense that we deal with in this country regarding our children. Children are getting the shaft. There is an entire, we live in a democracy where children come first. Children are number one. Okay, so why are they getting the most injustices done onto them? Why? We have people like that, like Ronnie, who are out there. Look at me. Aren't I cute? Aren't I special? Aren't I so just... No, you're not. You're not. And childhood cancer is not a place for you to make yourself look like some kind of poster child. You're not a golden boy. And it needs to stop. You need to go away. You need to be eliminated and extinguished from this community permanently. And if I have to, as an advocate, I will see to it that you never step foot in another hospital ever again. And I can make it happen. If you really want to mess with me, I can make it happen. Because you know what? I also have connections with hospitals too. You may not know that up until now, but I do. I have connections as well.
Careful, it's hot. Got it?
Yep. And I am not afraid. I am not afraid to engage in those connections. So. And I don't care if, Okay.
Lost the train of thought on that one.
Yeah, I I contemplated making that video yesterday, and my dad told me, he says, you know what, you shouldn't do it because he could get you for defamation of character. And
is Scruffy wants in, can you let him in?
Yeah, I'll let him in.
Okay, thank you.
But Dad pointed out, he says, well, I shouldn't, you shouldn't make the video because he could get you for defamation of character. Well, I mean, he's done the same to me. I mean, two wrongs don't make a right, and that's not the message I'm trying to point out here. But what I'm trying to say is that even though he has used my name in a very obnoxiously stupid way on Facebook to try to tear me down, again, you don't hear me coming back saying, well, hey, Ronnie, I'm going to sue you for slandering my name on Facebook. However, if you want to take this into court, I just might use that against you. So, but I've talked about this for far too long, and with some assistance from Amy, which is always nice. I like to hear feedback from other people. But she's right. I mean, someone, when you compare me to Ronnie, which should be no comparison at all, but let's just say for argument's sake, you have a guy like Ronnie he's never had to go through this himself. He's never had to watch his children go through this, which, by the way, I found out he does have children, and he owes back child support. Thought I'd throw that out there, too. And then you have someone like me, who I have been through the hell. My family has walked through the fire of hell with childhood cancer. It's just a battle line. It is a fire line that no parent, no family would ever expect to be thrown into. It is a fire pit. And then you have this guy over here who thinks that he can somehow magically swoop his cape and put the fire out. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. But I will also say, regrets? None. I have no regrets. Because that video that I made yesterday was for my brothers and sisters. My warrior brothers and sisters who have been through such atrocities with childhood cancer. And, me going off on a little rant, it may or may not help my case. I mean, to the right person it will, to the wrong person it won't. And good morning, Dad. He wakes up, he starts every morning with a cough. But he is getting better. Progressively, he's getting better. He was doing pretty good last night. He cooked some chicken. We had chicken for supper last night. And Alfredo noodles. So I guess it was chicken Alfredo. Because what he did was he just cooked the chicken, and cut it up into pieces. And then I made the fettuccine Alfredo. And then I just mixed in the bits of chicken with the fettuccine Alfredo. And we had supper. Top it with some seasoning salt. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. But I really don't know what else to say. Just know that good morning, Pop. Just know that I wouldn't have made the video if I didn't care. Well, you better get up and go. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. But anyway, guys, I really don't know what else to say. I kind of lost my train of thought here. I'm going to finish up my cup of coffee. I've been here for about the neighborhood of about 50 minutes. I just want you to know that I only make the videos and I only talk about things because I absolutely I love and care about the community. I always have. When I first started doing this in 2013, I didn't look at it as a chance to be a big shot. I didn't look at it as some kind of competitive blood sport. That's Ronnie's doings. I didn't do it for the glory. I didn't do it for anything that most people would consider that I did it for. Not in a good way. I did it because I realized that, prior to that, I'd say between 1990 and 2012. I mean, when I'm a kid, I don't know how to be an advocate or a voice for that. When I'm a kid, all I could probably say was, hey, I survived childhood cancer. I had Wilms tumor. But the older I got, I didn't realize that I'm actually a part of a much bigger community. I'm not saying that I'm not aware, or even then I wasn't aware that childhood cancer isn't sporadic. I was aware. I think a part of me knew that. But now with social media as the surface of all this, all of the warriors are now known. The parents share their story and they try to, they reach out to people. It's easier for social media to be the platform because it's easier to get through to a vast majority of people. But I will say that when I started doing this in 2013, I only did it because I realized something clicked. That, you know what, I am a part of a much larger community of children, teens, adults. I had spoken with an adult. She was a childhood cancer survivor of Wilms. She was diagnosed back in 1971. She had spoken at CareFest last year on Capitol Hill. We had spoken on the phone. It was wonderful. And we had kind of swapped back and forth some ideas, and it's like, wow, you think and feel kind of the same way that I do. But in essence, because these children are actually brothers and sisters of me and this other individual. We're all brothers and sisters. But my main focus is childhood cancer because I was a child when I had cancer. So naturally, that's going to be my focus. That's going to be my focal point, my access point for raising awareness, because I've been through that. And I wasn't expecting such a big, a reception from so many people. But I only wanted to share my story to provide hope and inspiration and say, if I can do it, you can do it. To give that good feeling, especially with, like Wilms tumor. Now, mind you, there have been reported deaths from Wilms tumor. But I only shared my story because if there is a chance, like, this Jared Fuller guy, he's been free and clear of Wilms now for almost 30 years. This coming March will be the 29th anniversary of my diagnosis date, which reminds me I do have to get in contact with Dr. Scott again to find out, because, I still have some questions that remain unanswered. And I'm almost certain he would have the answers to those questions. But what I want to do is set up another appointment with Dr. Scott and just kind of, get some answers and get some insight. But I shared my story. I reintroduced it back into the community. And the further that my education expands about my battle, I can reintroduce that to other people who may or may not have similar experiences. They ask me questions. Like yesterday, I was receiving text messages from 2 families affected by Wilms tumor. I'll actually make it 3. One from New York, one from Texas, and the other one wasn't a Wilms family. Actually, they were just another cancer warrior family from Texas. So yeah. about 3, I think 3 families. But there's an understanding. There's a connection there that only we can understand. There's like a certain language. It's like this community. We speak in ways that only we understand. Now you have an outsider like Ronnie Duvall who comes into the scene and he wants to make it about himself. It's not a secret. Everybody who's ever had contact with Ronnie Duvall knows this now. They may not have seen it then. They figured, good guy. He wants to do good things. That was my impression of him at first, too. I thought, okay, he's a good guy. He just wants to be a voice for the kids with cancer. That's wonderful. I didn't think that he was doing this for reasons other than what his goal was. But now, the truth is coming out more and more and more and more with each passing day. And it makes me despise him even more.
Hey!
Is he getting the cat?
Leave it alone. Hey! Leave it alone.
Barkley,
Stop it.
come on, leave Mama Kitty alone.
Leave it alone. Get down. Get down. Get down.
But anyway, we'll end the video on that note. Leave Mama Kitty alone. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching again this week. I love you all. Have a wonderful week. And if I've offended anybody by the video I made yesterday, too bad. Usually I would say I'm sorry if I offended you, but too bad. The truth is the truth. It is what it is. Someone's got to say it, and believe me, there are people, many more people out there who are talking. And I hope that that video was a groundwork and inspired more people to come out and talk more about their situations and experiences with Ronnie Duvall. Because we're done with him. We're not going to put up with it anymore. We're taking our community back. Ronnie, your history. Anyway, that's it for this week. Mwah. Much love. Peace out. And what's Dad doing? Okay. Bye.